Hello and welcome to this tutorial on plotting of isometric view. This is a very interesting tutorial. I have come up with a new example. This is indeed a challenging problem. I definitely wanted to bring this to the note of you. That is why I am posting a lesson on this particular object. It is a very tricky problem. Only the front view and top view has been given. The side view has been purposely omitted. So you have to clearly read the problem. From the given front view and the top view, you should be in a position to grasp the complete details, the complete description about the object. But to my opinion, I will say that this is a tough problem because the problem has got many features. In order to help the students, I have prepared a solid model, a full scale solid model for you. I hope that it will be very helpful in understanding the details of the object. So this is the object in question. So after seeing the object, you could really understand that the problem is really a tricky problem. There are three planes. You can understand this is one plane and this is another plane, and these two planes are mutually perpendicular, and you have a third plane at the top. This plane is also mutually perpendicular to this. More or less, this is the detail that is visible in the front view. You could see this surface and you could see these details, right? And coming to the top view, so more or less this is the detail that is visible to you in the top view. From the given front view, we can very clearly understand about this detail, and similarly from the given top view, we can clearly understand about this detail. But since the side view is not given, we should be in a position to make out this detail. Now, by looking at the top view, here you can find a dotted line. This dotted line corresponds to this edge, and this edge is right in the middle of the width. The total width is 75 and this edge is at the middle. So that is why there is a dotted line. So that dotted line corresponds to this edge. So these are the details that you have to make up by carefully reading the front view and top view. So with this idea and with this background in our mind, now let us jump into the solution. In order to save time, I have already constructed a box. The total length of the box is 135 mm and the width of the box is 75 mm, and again the height is 75 mm. Now let us assume that there are three parts in this diagram, or there are three parts in this object. This is part 1 and this is part 2, and this portion, or preferably you can look at the top view, this portion is part 3. So with this idea in our mind, let us try to solve each and every part separately, and finally we can assemble them all together and get the required isometric view. The thickness is 14 mm. So I am taking 14 mm in my compass and make a reference mark. And the length of this portion is 75 mm. I am marking 75 mm here and similarly 75 mm here. You can as well use your mini drafter to mark all reference lines. So we have constructed this portion, and we have to mark 20 mm, 21 mm and again 20 mm. Now I am marking 20 mm, then 21 mm, then again 20 mm. Now I am marking 28 mm for this reference. Now we need to draw this arc. The radius of the arc is 26 mm. To draw the arc, we need to draw a perpendicular through this point, and similarly another perpendicular through this point. And these two perpendiculars meet or they intersect here, and this point acts as the center of the arc. Now I am measuring the radius with this as center. I am drawing an arc. Now I need to draw the same arc on the other end, so I will shift the center by 14 mm. I will make use of the same arc radius. Go to the new center. And draw the arc. With this, we have completed the details of this part. So let me draw the required portions alone with a darker impression in order to improve clarity. Now let us move on to the other surface. This dotted line is exactly at the middle of the slab. So the total width is 75. So exactly at the middle we have to make a marking here, and the same marking can be transferred to the bottom. Now I am marking a distance of 37.5, and let me transfer these details to the bottom surface. And this reference has to be now transferred to the bottom. Now we have to mark 14 mm and 5 mm on this line. This is 14 mm. And this is 5 mm. Now I am drawing a line in this direction through the 14 mm point. Now I have completed the second surface, only the required portions with a darker impression. Now let us move on to the third surface. And now we have to draw a semicircle over here with a radius of 22 mm. So I am taking 22 mm in my compass, and I am making all reference lines. So this is the start point of the semicircle, and this is the midpoint of semicircle. This is the start point of semicircle, and this is midpoint of semicircle, and this is the end point of semicircle. Now I have to draw perpendiculars through all the 3 points. This is first perpendicular, and this is the second perpendicular, and this is the third perpendicular. Now I am getting two centers. This is center 1 and this is center 2. With this as center and this distance as radius, I am completing the first portion of the semicircle. And with this as center and this distance as radius, I am completing the remaining portion. From this point to this semicircle, I have to draw a tangent. Now the top surface has been completed. The same detail I have to repeat at the bottom. So let me draw a tangent, and also I am transferring this point downwards. I have to shift this center by a distance of 14 mm. So I'll take the 14 mm distance from here and shift the center down by a distance of 14 mm. This is the new center. I will use the same old radius. So we have drawn the semicircular arc. Only the required portion of the semicircular arc we have drawn. And we have to draw a circle over here. The center of this semicircle and the circle are one and the same. Let me mark the center of the circle. The diameter of the circle is 22 mm. So I am taking 11 mm in my compass and I try to draw a square. Now I am using the 4 center method to draw circle in this location. So this is center 1 and this is center 2 and this is center 3 and this is center 4. Now we have constructed the circle. Now the circle has to be again copied down on another plane at a distance of 14 mm below. Now I am trying to make a reference marking from here down at a distance of 14 mm. So this is my reference mark. So through this point only, this circle will pass. So the circle has been copied at the bottom plane, and it is time to complete the required portions with a darker impression. After erasing the reference lines and construction lines, the final view looks like this. And with this we come to the end of this tutorial. If you really like this tutorial, you can press the like button, and also you can share it with your friends who are learning engineering graphics. And also please don't fail to subscribe this channel, because you will be the one to get first notified when we post the next lesson. Bye for now. We will meet in the next lesson.